to do if you're a doomer? Jeez, haven't we all been there? What to do if you're a doomer? Jeez, haven't we all been there? The answer is yes, because we've all been 19. It actually harks back to a Norse tradition where 19-year-olds were allowed to sit near embers of fire going for a year straight, and then they had to go out and kill elks and probably the deadliest game of all, man. And wouldn't it be better if we still did? Now, but the thing is, there is something there. There is something about young men around the age of 18 and 19 go, and the way that we used to thin them out was by throwing them wave after wave at Germans. We don't do that anymore. And again, I think that society would be a better place if we did. Failing that, you have to recognise something about that mentality, because I was there. I think every male has been there. There is this phase where you just go, hang on, I'm not getting pussy like that guy in American Pie. It's like, that is the mindset that kind of happens. You just become disillusioned, like, what does it all mean, man? Because you're still a teenager, you're so inwardly focused. And I think that the way to get yourself out of that is to understand there's 6 human needs. So, when people always say about the doomer mindset and then it goes, just goes in nihilism, man, nothing means anything. You always know someone's a complete moron if they say that everything's meaningless. Okay, so you're saying that the equivalent of watching one of those like stupid surrealist art paintings is exactly the same as the consequences of electing a government. You're saying that both of those two things are meaningless in the grand scheme of things. I've got a very intelligent retort to that. Fuck off. It's not the same. Some things have meaning. And there's a really good way. The shittest advice that you always hear, I think, always comes down to the idea that everything's meaningless, so you attach the meaning that you want to it. That's stupid. That's basically saying that Ted Bundy can just go into court and going, well, I created my own art, really, and I think it's meaningful. And he did. So I guess he can. Well, that's the end of the video. I've just proven myself wrong. But I think that you can attach meaning. Basically, the human brain sort of has like a servo guidance mechanism, unless you're messed in the head like he was, clearly. Most of them understand when they're doing something good and when they're doing something wrong. Now, I think to best understand this, Tony Robbins, as always, what a man, and what a jaw, is the best at deciphering it down to its most basic elements, which is the 6 human needs. And that is, usually, the reason I think that we have so much of this teenage doomer angst is because the 4 human needs are settled pretty much automatically for everybody in the Western world, which is certainty, uncertainty, significance. Because of all those medals you get. God, how much is this always on the borderline of one of those people that watches Sky News religiously and just goes, you know what the problem with university is? And actually, I've got one shitting on university coming out next. So it's pretty much just that. But yeah, certainty, uncertainty. So there's a dichotomy in that, which is that if you're too certain in life, if you have all of your needs met, you start to get bored. So you start looking for variety. This is usually what happens in relationships. This is usually what happens in just work and these kind of things. If you are in a good job, if you are in a good relationship, you start wanting someone who's nasty. But the other thing is, if you get somebody in a relationship who is one of those I can go up a pole in a strip club with just my vagina muscles, one of those, you usually do end up wanting just one of those hometown girls. So it's always this dichotomy that's just in play, is one of those, you know, contradictions of life. You know. So how did I get that sentence wrong? The other one is that the other contrast, it's not really a contrast, but the other 2 needs that you want is significance, which is just been eliminated by all those participation trophies. Sky News! Those participation trophies that you get, but some form of significance. If you have this idea in your head that you are significant, and again, look, this is where that stupid advice that it rings true, but it's too simplistic of life's meaningless if you attach it. Thing is, some people feel really significant because your mom loves them. Some people feel really significant only if they make $10 million in the stock that day, and then they'll feel like shit the next day because they'll just be like, what? 9.5 billion of it's gone. Duh. Jump out the window. But then the other one is connection. And again, you can feel connection in a million different ways. The usual way that people feel connection, though, is by having friends. Do you have some of those? People that watch YouTube? Oh, getting real. But, I've got them. You guys are my friends, right? These are the 4 human needs. They're the ones that, if you don't have these achieved in some way, you become kind of just this flobbering jellyfish of a human being. You're never really stable enough to get onto the next 2 spiritual human needs. And that's where I think doomer mentality comes in, because usually in Western society, you have some level of certainty. You can get levels of uncertainty by egging cars. Highly recommend you do that as a public figure. Go out and vandalise in petty, annoying teenage ways. You're still not old enough to get out of that at 19, are you? Something that 14-year-olds are like, oh fuck, can it get any more badass than this? Then there's also... I forget! there's also connection. And so when you get connection, again, you can do that in a bunch of different ways. Usually most people have some level of connection with other human beings. So usually that need is met to some sort of a level. It might not be at the level that you want it to be, but to some certain level where you don't turn into one of those insane rambling people on the street selling big issues. And then you've also got significance. Usually you have that covered, and you can get certainty as well, because most people have a house and they are fed to a degree. So they go into this existential crisis of, what does it all mean, man? And then they start looking for stupid reasons for why they should feel sorry for themselves. And frankly, there's a term, I think, in psychology for that. It's called being a little bitch. And the way that you get out of being a little bitch is that you start focusing on the 2 spiritual needs once you have those 4 handled, because this is the way out. When people always go, oh, you just got to attach your own meaning to it. Yes, but this is the servo guidance mechanism that you use. You ready? This is it. Write these down. You got a pen and paper? If you don't, shame! I've never asked you to do that, really, have I? I've always just said, just pause it after you're done and then go find a pen and paper. You just got to go watch another YouTube video, aren't you? Yes. But these are the 2. Pause the video, get a pen and paper. Growth and contribution. When you feel those, you feel fulfilled. You don't feel like that dirty little doomer, and you don't have those things of like a real estate agent convincing themselves that, I'm pretty happy with myself because I own a blue suit. How fuck? Anyone who owns a blue suit and wears it all the time is just a classic fuckwit. In every scenario, aren't they? They're always just one of those liberal voting cunts that's like, I don't give a shit about anything except R.M. Williams and having a girlfriend that is hot if she has a bunch of makeup on. There we go, happy family, la 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 la. It's a sham! Of course you're a sham. Your job is meaningless. Sorry, there probably is some real estate agents watching this because usually they are into self-help. But honestly, you're a fucking leech. Now, let's go on to these 2 points. Growth and contribution. The first one when it comes to growth is that when you are feeling that you are in some way, intellectually, physically, this is why a lot of idiots usually get into gyms a lot and just like, bros, check out the muscles. Yeah. Growth in physical realm is important, but you should be balancing it out with intellectual pursuits and with spiritual growth as well. But all of those things, you can feel it in a bunch of different ways, but as long as you feel like you are growing, as in you are getting better, because it's a universal law of life. I love this quote. It's something that you should remember for the rest of your life, which is that if you're not growing, you're dying. Perfect. Summed up so simplistically. Everything in nature, if it is not growing, it starts dying. There's no such thing as just stagnating and being the same as what you are. You start getting shitter. This is why there are some 70-year-olds, when you look at them, like your Paul Keatings of the world, where you go, damn, this guy's even more mad now that he's an old man. It's because he has grown. Intellectually, he has grown, even from when he was Australia's best Prime Minister, in my own personal opinion. And that's not debatable either. I don't even know why I said that in that. He is. Deal with it. Now, that's the reason. So when you're feeling that level of growth, that in some way you feel like you're smarter than what you were yesterday, that you feel that you are exercised, I go to the gym. Not really, I just have one of those housewife things. It's like, okay, just 2 more push-ups, girls. Yay, I can really feel my tits pushing out. I watch those. But that feeling of getting better, that's going to get rid of that feeling of existential dread that all of those doomers feel automatically. And this is the other interesting thing, is that as a human being, you are going to be constantly focused on one of these 4 things. So let's just go back to the real estate agent. They are going to be usually focused on significance, being like, got a blue suit, I'm rich in photos because I'm sitting behind a car that's not mine. They're always just looking at significance, but because they're idiots, they usually try and get it in low-level ways. But then there's other people that, and everyone will try and achieve significance, but some people are guided by significance, and some people are guided by connection. This is what's called clingy girlfriends. They are usually that person just be like, what you doing? They're guided by connection. Then there's some people that are guided by certainty. They're the most boring, awful people you'll ever meet in your entire life. Those people that are just like, I just want a stable job and just have a little bit of savings everywhere. Yeah, $10 more. Ooh, fulfilled. Yay, I'm basically a garden mole. And then you have people that are stimulated, or they're guided by variety, and those are usually your hippie stoners that are just like, I've been around all of Australia, man, and the other day this homeless guy tried to steal everything that I have, but I was like, dude, you have more than me. We had a cool conversation. Then we surfed. Those people are guided by that. Now, what I think truly successful people are guided by, and then you have a secondary one of those, and everybody has a different combination of what they're mostly guided by and how they make most of their decisions in life. Truly successful people are guided by growth and contribution, because the 2 thoughts that they are constantly having in their head is, how do I serve society and how do I get better? And they interplay, and it is just a recipe for success, because if you're thinking about how you can be a better person and how you can be smarter, how you can be stronger, how you can service people better, that all ties into growth, but it also eventually starts tying into contribution. And when you are tying into contribution, you're providing a service. And when you're providing a service, eventually you become so good at that service, and usually you become so unique at it because there's so few people that put in the effort to become good at something, that you are of value to society. And it's a beautiful thing, because you are giving things to society and society is giving things back to you. This is a very small percentage of the population. That's the secret to fulfillment as well. That's the secret to a blessed life, as I saw on some chick's ass on Pornhub that they put a tattoo on. And I was like, yeah, that's disgusting, but I didn't say stop. Now, this is a horrible, horrible channel, isn't it? I mean, it's just so... This is Friendly Geordie's Raw, like the porn set. Now, let's go back into that. Growth and contribution. Growth and contribution. All right. So, but that's the thing. I'm a better man. Like Robbie Williams always says, do it all I can. This picture fell off. Now my bottom hurts. Now, such a mess. Yeah. Growth and contribution. If you make those 2 things your guiding force, and the thing is, this is what's interesting, you can change what is your guiding force. Not overnight, but just like Pantene Pro V promises it will happen. Eventually what starts to happen, and I can guarantee you that these are the things that drive me now. Originally what drove me was significance. Clearly. I'm a Leo. But what happened over time was that I started thinking, oh yeah, but if I make a growth and contribution, I'll be significant anyway. This is the thing. Certainty, variety, connection, significance. All of those things are handled if you make those 2 things your guiding force in life anyway. Because think about it. Dude, there's a lot of people that kiss my ass now. Basically a cult figure at this point. I honestly reckon if I was like, we're going to kill ourselves, it'd be at least 100 fat ginger nerds going back and forth going, okay, if that's how you think we're going to get into heaven. Like, that happens if you are very good at what you do. Eventually. You start getting zealot fans of what you want. You get that significance anyway. Connection, well, there's a lot of people that I think that I instantly, as a result of what I've put out into the world, that is just like, you're basically me. There is a deep connection with a lot of people that I meet after my shows instantly, just from talking to them for a sentence. You're just like, yeah, it's basically looking at me. That's it. Except for this version of me has tits. That's kind of what starts happening as a result of that. Certainty, yeah, you start making a lot of money. You are very certain in life. Variety, you have money now to do things that are cool and safe. And I suppose you could still egg cars if you wanted to. And the more I keep thinking about it, the more I do want to egg cars. And all of that happens as a result of making your two focuses in life, growth and contribution. So, what I want you to write down, if you can be bothered. And in fact, you should be bothered to do this. What I want you to write down as your homework. First off, that's the meaning to life. just FYI. But anyone who's just been like, it's all meaningless, man. No, it's not. And on top of that, there are people that go like, it's all meaningless, which means that you can put meaning attached into it. Fuck off. Go back to your shitty first year uni philosophy degree. This is how it works. Growth and contribution is the meaning of life. That is life. That is replicated in life. You see it over and over with trees. Growing, then they expand and they contribute by making mandarins, and then birds eat those mandarins and then they spread it out and then that grows more trees. That is that is the meaning of life. Okay? No debates. Growth and contribution. That should be your guiding mechanism in life. And the way to make this your guiding mechanism, I want you to go back and I want you to think about today. And I want you to think about today and I want you to just say that 3 more times. I want you to think about, I want you to write down the activities that you did. Go back into your memory and just go, 7 a.m. I woke up today, or this audience. 3 p.m. I woke up today. And then after 3 p.m. what did you do? You went and ate cereal in your bed and then went, oh no, I dropped some. And then dogs came in and licked it up. Circle of life, that's fine. But I want you to write down what you did, and I want you to write down what guided those. Was it growth, contribution, significance? Was it connection? Was it certainty? Was it uncertainty? Which of those things was driving it? Why did you do what you did using those filters? And then I want you to start thinking, how could I shift it? Because even if you're able to shift it in your mind of just, the reason that I asked my girlfriend for sex wasn't because I wanted connection, it's because I wanted her to have connection. That's contribution. Even if you just start tricking yourself into just being like, I did this because I wanted this for growth and I wanted this for contribution, eventually what starts happening is that it starts putting roots in your mind and you start seeing the world through that gaze. And you get better and better at it. This is every single year I think I'm able to produce more and more high quality work as a result of making these two my guiding mechanisms, growth and contribution. And as a result of that, you get the 4 other needs more handled and you figured out the meaning of life. Well, you didn't, Tony Robbins did, which is why I legitimately think he's God. And if he just said, okay, so what I want you to do is just jump up and down. Yes, yes, yes. Now I want you to get this nail gun and put it in your head. I'd just be like, I love you, Tony. All right, we'll finish on that. See ya. And give me questions. Give me questions as well. We'll finish on that. And like the video.